To the NBA now, as the Utah Jazz begin a new year on a 4-game road trip. They were looking to even their record at 500 for the 8th time in their first 39 games. After last season's playoff upset of OKC, the emergence of Donovan Mitchell, certainly 500 wasn't the projection or hope for this team. Vegas, as a matter of fact, set their over-under at 49.5 at the beginning of the year. They were in Toronto. Raptors shared some news on Tuesday that Kyle Lowry has had injections in his back to relieve pain and reduce inflammation. No timeline on his return. This is a good basketball game. Kawhi Leonard, he's a superstar every day, but he was unstoppable in this one. Joe, you were just the guy that was trying to stop him. Rudy Gobert, defensive player of the year in the NBA, powerless to stop him there. Royce O'Neal, it's your turn to get a dose. Up and under, line drive, good. Leonard 7 for 7 from the floor against 6 different Jazz defenders, according to Second Spectrum, for 19 points, and he's got 34 through 3 quarters. Pascal Siakam, this was the guy Tim Legler told us earlier this year, absolutely the most improved player in the NBA. I just love watching him play. He's long, he's bouncy, he never stops going a million miles an hour. He had a career high 28 in this one. Spicy Siakam. Donovan Mitchell, Jay Crowder, all 3 of these. Jazz within 4. Moments later, Raptors up 6. Leonard. Come on, man. Another look at this. It helps when you got mitts that can grab it like it's a Nerf ball. Then Leonard working on angles. Baseline. And then the dagger comes along the way to a career-high 45, with the Raptors winning this one by 6. In progress, highlights. Speaking of spicy, what got spicy in this one? Last I saw, the Sixers were winning by 1 million. Rare that we show the first bucket of the game, but it's a Joel Embiid 3. Sixers up 9. Good ball movement. And off the miss, Embiid on Boban. Embiid's got 19 and 8 in the first half. To the fourth quarter, Sixers now, excuse me, this is second quarter. I jumped ahead in the highlight. That's my bad. That's the Embiid 3. We now move to further action in the game. It's a 13-point fourth quarter lead. You already knew that I said it. TJ McConnell, Embiid, Patrick Beverley. That dude has no back down in his repertoire. Don't care who it is. Both would receive technical fouls. And pointed out to me it's a bit of a size mismatch. It is not a heart mismatch because Beverly's, as I said, he's a willing participant. Mike Muscala, 3 after the play. Jimmy Butler and Avery Bradley. What happens here? It's a box out. We got an arm bar. A little pushing and shoving. Fellas, new year. Peace and love and happiness and all that. Now they've cut it to 7. Montrezl Harrell blocked by Embiid. Gets it back, and it's 1, 2, and 3 the hard way. 7-point game late. Wednesday, Minnesota-Boston. Will it be spicy? I don't know. You will have to watch. Thunder-Lakers, forecast mildly spicy, perhaps moderate spice. Wednesday, 10:30. We are not following that. Antonio Brown. Still hard to imagine that the Pittsburgh Steelers were 7-2-1 and managed to miss the playoffs, but they did. Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers' season ended last week after that 16-13 win over Cincinnati, a game played without Antonio Brown. In his weekly radio appearance, Ben Roethlisberger with his version of whatever went on last week between the two.
In practice on Wednesday that set this off.
Well, that's the kind of baffling thing to me is people are making a big deal about a walkthrough on Wednesday that there was a blow-up, a fight between he and I. I don't know anything about that. If there was a blow-up or something, I sure as heck did see it. But I consider him to be one of my closest friends on the team, so I'm not really sure why or where some of this blow-up is coming from. I've reached out to him numerous times. I've called him, texted him. I know other guys on the team have too, and haven't heard back from him. But Thursday morning, he and I talked, and there was no issue, so I'm not really sure.
Steve, do most of your closest friends respond to your calls or texts?
Yes.
Most of the time, mind you, I think. Roethlisberger says he wants Brown back, but it's up to each man in the locker room to decide if they do. Brown is a spectacular talent, but these issues seem to constantly accompany him. Ryan Clark sat right here yesterday and said he's got to go. I don't know how that happens because I can't imagine what the get back would be. And if it's going to happen, it has to be a ton. When we return, Texas enters its offseason with a ton of momentum on the field, and they continue the spicy recruiting. Tom Herman will join us, tell us what this victory means to them, and I'll tell you what it means in the Bahamas Bowl if you had the under. Nothing good.
Well, that's overwhelming.
More than once. That's on the way. I'm here every week, right?
Sure are.